Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Not Too Comic Book. This being a show where we're talking about TV shows that are adaptations of comic books. For today's episode, I'm gonna talk about Sweet Home Season 3, Episode 5. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. Well, let's start off with the Yisu and Songwan of it all, including Yikyong. I think it speaks volumes that he's like, oh, I thought you said your mom was a monster. Did you made her one? She's like, I did, but then she became human again. And it's like, I made her a monster so she wouldn't die, which I think influences her decision later on with Seongyu. But I'll get to that later. I think it's so interesting. Like I said, the fact is that he's so focused on his goal that that's a key thing you should think it's important. Like, your daughter wouldn't lie about that. She's like, I made Yikyong into a monster, and she's not one, but all he cares about is his goal right in front of him. It's like, well, who cares? She was useless. The fact of the matter is, I'm going to need you to be my host. And he, tries to switch bodies, but it doesn't work. At first, I was thinking that was her, pushing him backward. It seemed like she kind of did, but it also seemed like it's him himself. Because he talks to Dr. Lim later on, and Lim's like, I think I understand what's wrong with you. And it is kind of something I never really took notice of. And I thought, it's kind of interesting when you look at it from that perspective. Every time he's ever switched bodies, it's never been like a fully conscious decision. It's always been like a subconscious survival instinct. Like, oh, you were being tortured and put through so much pain, so you just bounced to a different body. Oh, your body was burning and decaying, so you jumped to another body. So it's always been like a last minute thing. So it's like, right, you don't need to die again, you just need to be on the brink of death. So I'd assume Hyun would help with that. To be fair, he's the reason why you were able to jump in the Sangwook's body to begin with. So it's like, not Seok-wook, right? It's like, yeah, that's why you're able to jump into his body to begin with. So I would assume Hyun would be the answer to some extent, but it seems like he's got his own plans. I should also note, I always like that the intro does, I haven't talked about it at all. It's like, I have to go back to the other intros because I was like, it feels like they remixed the music a little bit. But obviously, each season, the imagery of the opening changes. And I do think it's interesting, the last shot of the intro is a person's face, and then you see one of the eyes. It's like the right eye in particular is X'd out. I would assume that's supposed to be Songwan because his right eye is banged the hell up because Yikyong just kept pumping lead into it, that side of his face. So those bullets are probably embedded in his eye now. So it seems like that's what he's going to be like for the rest. I mean, his body's pretty banged up. That's why he wants to switch bodies so badly. So just thought that was kind of interesting. Once again, one of those things that if you go back through all the intros, you'll probably see things that permeate and eventually happen or play out throughout the season. Because obviously season 2's heavily represented the Yisu of it all. But either way. But yeah, he locks up Yisu because he's like, well, if I need to find a matter of being able to get into her body right now, and Dr. Lim's helping him. In fact, he's got one of his cronies helping him, and it's like, I'm going to need your help. At first I was like, are they going to have to attack you until you're almost on the brink of death? But he's also later on, he's having all the survivors pile up all this stuff, so they're trying to make a big fire, because that's what happened to him last time he switched bodies, to force his hand. So, but I thought he was going to have his cronies attack him or something like that, but it doesn't seem like that's the case. You have Tak making moves. He kidnaps the girl that was on Yisu duty, looking after her while she was locked up where all those quote-unquote scraps are. Those other, could have been potential neo-humans were. They might have already been neo-humans, but they hadn't fully gone through the process yet again because Songwan cut that short. But either way, Tak kidnaps her. For whatever reason, I thought they were going to kidnap Yisu, but it's like, no, they kidnapped her, and they're trying to give Tak what he needs to become a special infectee like the rest. And so, going back to Yisu really quickly, we have Seongyu coming to help her. It's like, why did you leave with your mom? And she says, right, my name is Yisu, and it's like, and he's like, right, you need to get out of here, But she's like, what? Why would? Where am I gonna go? I have nowhere to go. I'm alone. It's like, no, you have me. You have Miss Cha. So like, you're not alone. And it's like, you'll go with me. And she even says like, I can do what you wanted, right? You wanted to become a monster. I can do that. And it's like, it seems like she went through with it. Because the sad thing is, she thinks it's her solution and everything. Because in her mind, it's like, well, my mom wouldn't have died if she was still a monster. I'm tired of losing people. I lost my mom, and I like you, Seong Yu. You're like family to me now, so I need you to stay around. So she's extra motivated with all her pain to make him a monster, which he himself wants to be a monster. I mean, we see later on his clothes are on the ground. We have no idea what he turned into. I'm curious what monster he turned into, because she's on her own later on, but I'm assuming that's her looking for Seong-yu because he's gone. And later on, Sungwon makes the announcement to everyone that it's like, hey, if you want to, the special, like if you're a monster or you're showing, if you're symptomatic, you get special treatment. And it's like, and the fact is, like, it's all going to be good. It's all going to be kosher. You're never going to have to worry about being in danger again. Oh, let me note to you, my daughter has the power to make people symptomatic. So, it probably would benefit you to find my daughter. It's like, he's not going, like, the moment he finds her, she's not going to individually turn people into monsters or whatever. It's like, no, he's immediately going to switch bodies. Maybe after switching bodies, taking over her body, then he'll maybe do that to kind of create like a monster army. I feel like he wouldn't care enough at that point in time. So it's just kind of like, I'll leave you guys to die. I'll kill you if I need to. Like, everyone's disposable to him. Everyone's a means to an end. So I'm so curious to see what that turns into. We do know, at least, was it Seong-yu overheard the conversation. Well, that's why he went to go find Yisu, as he found out that she was locked up again, but he overheard that guy, which I figured as much. I was like, that's the only person that knew about Yikyong and Yisu's meetup, so it's like, it had to be that bastard, and it was. He's just a human, but he is, like, he has cans of tuna, so I'm assuming he got rewarded for his turning on Yukion. Doesn't care that she died in the end, but he's trying to benefit from this because he saw Yisu earlier, and upon hearing that, he's like, crap, and he tries to run off to try and find Yisu. So, like I said, I believe she's looking for Seong-yu, which Miss Cha and Yuseo are looking for him as well. So, some very interesting developments. You've also got Songwon kind of basically what's the word I'm looking for? Basically distancing himself from his cronies, because he's like, right, you guys have proved to be useless, because he finds out, are those two supposed to be brothers? Because they like hugged and everything, so they have maybe, I don't remember that situation last season, but I'd assume the way they're acting, they are brothers. Maybe that was or maybe they're really good friends, but feel like families, a familial situation. But maybe, like I said, I don't remember as much of season 2 as I wish I did, but the fact is that Home Dude got away from his circumstances. I mean, this all ties into the Hyun side of things, so might as well transition over to that. But I love that he thought he got away, and I love Hyun's just waiting on he looks so sinister with the one wing and everything. Being like, oh wow, this is as far as you got, and then attacks him, and it's like, oh, you, because he's like trying to. Guy doesn't know when to shut his mouth. He's just like, right, I guess Hyun is gone. He's completely overtaken by the monster. It's like, well, not really. I mean, he's buried deep here, so he's still here, but it's like, no, I'm not weak. He's not weak, or I'm not weak, but you are, you bastard. So, Eon-yu and them end up crossing paths with Sergeant Kim and Hyuk, and like, Eon-yu and Hyuk eyes meet. But at first I was like, oh, maybe he really doesn't have his memories, because that's not correlating. It's not meaning anything to him. But then Kim crashes into Hyun. He was mainly aiming for the guy with the glasses and stuff, because it's like, right, you and your people are the ones that hurt my men and killed them. So like, he started popping shells in his face repeatedly, pistol whipping him and stuff, just for the purposes of, you hurt my men, I just want you to pay. And then Hyuk goes and talks with Hyun, and I love that it is like, their dynamic is back to the way it was. I mean, he literally says, the same lines. They did it obviously on purpose, but cutting back to him saying the exact same things to Hugh and all that time ago back in season 1, just for the purposes of like, it's going to get tough from here on out. And it's just like, oh, you're still that arrogant asshole you've always been. And it's like, I was like, did you miss me? He's like, oh, I missed you so much. I was like, I love that little like, I mean, Hyun has all the, like, yeah, he eventually came to, like, be okay with Eon Hyuk, but he also recognized him as, like, yeah, you're just kind of a manipulative piece of shit. You suck a lot. You're willing to do, you can be very emotionless. And I talked about it. It's really interesting that they kept that element of him, because obviously he's got it even more as a neo-human, because, like, I have my memories, but no emotions. I think I talked about it in the, webtoon. He at least presents more like oh, he puts on a smile and he's kind of like, he's that quiet manipulative bastard, like, oh, he kind of hides like his true nature underneath. But in this, he was just kind of, he's the cold bastard he is from the front up. He's pretty much a lot more upfront about who he is in the TV show than he is in a webtoon, because he kind of hides who he really is behind a smile and stuff. But once again, he's a dick, he's an asshole, but they're still good underneath him. So, but that becomes that thing of, at least that was Hyuk with emotions. This is a Hyuk who has that same, like, mentality, personality, just without all the emotional baggage along with it. So, but either way, the two of them are duking it out, and it's like, oh, like, and I love, like, he's just dodging Hyuk's attacks, and he's dodging Hyun's attacks. I even love that badass movement, just, like, holding himself up above the bus like that, on, like his back against, like, the top of the bus like that. And it's like, oh, you're trying to use that wing. Like, do you really need it? And he's like, fine, I don't need it. Puts it away, and they start duking it out. And he starts beating every living shit out of Hyuk. But Eon Yu is under the impression that's still her brother, until Sergeant Kim is like, you think that's your brother? He's not human anymore. But she's like, no. If he was a monster, he looked like a monster. He's not. He just looks like a regular human. Because even with the Hyun of it all, it's like, at least Hyun has like a giant fucking wing that kind of shows like, hey, he's not human. But to her, it's like her brother. It's like, but no, he's holding his own against. But I guess it's like some humans have kind of shown like, I could duke it out with a monster, even though I might be like power level wise, I might be on like not fully matching up, but still. So I found that fascinating, them duking it out. But Glasses dude with the overalls ends up like trapping them in the entire bus, because he's like melting it down, trying to make it their tomb. And so it's like, well, crap, now we're stuck in here. And so Hyun opens the bus up enough for Hyuk to get out, which he does because he is fast enough, which I'm curious to see what his power is as a neo-human. Or, well, like I said, it's never fully explored, because it do seem like the neo-humans are just, they are powerful, they are stronger, they are a little different, but I don't think they have like the same powers like the monsterization process has for like Hyuk. Like Hyun. Like, if Hyun goes through the process, he'd lose his wing, I think. I mean, or at least, like, Hyuk hasn't found the need to show what he's capable of doing. Like I said, he's stronger and he's faster, but, I mean, his main power is probably, like, his superpower is, like, his brain. He was always, like, a smart, conniving bastard, so he's probably even smarter, even more conniving, but that's about it. But after Hyuk got out the bus, Eon Yu comes to track her brother down. It's like, right, I finally found you. I've been looking everywhere for you. Do you know how much I've missed? But he's like, why would you miss me? Why'd you miss me? Like, why would you expect me to find you? Because she's like, you made a promise to come back. And it's like, but why didn't you let me know you're okay this entire time? And for him, it's like, why? It wasn't worth it. So, because I thought he didn't have all his memories back, but he there's still some sentimentality buried deep within, because he kept the photo. Like, he got it back last episode, so it's like he kept that on him. So he tries to pretend, but I think there's a little bit more emotion there than he's really letting on, and he doesn't, because he like probably needs to keep himself separate from his sister to do what he needs to do. And maybe that's, he has his rationale of like, right, he says everything, the hurtful things, just to push her away. It's like, right, you're even more useless, you've never really been able to do anything. And it's like, right, for her, it's almost like it's been opposite. It's kind of like, you've always needed me, but then like I still came looking for you, and you're pushing me away. You're saying, like, you're not my brother anymore. You're not human, even though you look at me. He's like, I'm a neo-human now. It's the final step of monsterization. So for Eon Yu, it's like, I haven't given up on you, Hyun, nor have I given up on my brother. I haven't given up on Hyoki. I'm mixing stuff up. Sorry. I was saying she's like, I've not given up on you, Hyuk, but I haven't also given up on Hyun either. So it's like, she's like, the bet is still in play. She still has like that time frame to try and get him back, and she's hoping that maybe she can get her brother back, because not the same circumstance, but Hyun and Hyuk are in a very similar aspect of who they were, is maybe not completely gone, but it's very, very deep beneath their current circumstances. So, and Eon Hyuk, it's like, right, I needed Hyun, but he proved to be a disappointment, so I'm not gonna wait around for a miracle. But Hyun does get out. This whole thing was kind of meant to be a test for Hyun to prove himself, and he does. He cuts out of the bus, and we see that his wings are heated. He like literally like is able to kind of, I guess, make his, I was about to say not serrate, it's not the right word, but it's like it's heated so he could just cut through the metal. I don't think he's done that up until now. Maybe he did it in season 1, but I'm pretty, because like I think he just stabbed like Sungwon multiple times like with his wings, and because I think that's how he killed Dusik. Like, yeah, I think this is an evolution of his power, that he's just growing stronger and evolving more, that he's adding like fire to his wings, so he can at least hit like the sharp parts of his wing. It's like he can heat them up, so he's getting stronger and developing more. So what Hyuk has planned, what he like, once again, what he's aiming for and why he needs Hyun, I don't know if this is, I mean, he was fine with heading towards the stadium because it's like, well, Chief G's son is there, which Tak had tried to say, like, right, I haven't seen this whole, like, cocoon process before, even though he had. So it seems like that's the thing, like, that all the monsters were heading towards anyway, and it seemed like Hyuk was okay with going in that direction because he must have felt the pull as well. So it's all going down at the stadium, but I'm curious to see what it is they're aiming for in the long run. And more of this neo-human stuff, like I keep bringing up, it's not explored really at all in the webtoon what that means in the long run, but maybe the show will. I mean, we've got 3 more episodes for them to kind of dive into that. I don't, like I said, maybe they'll leave it open-ended and unanswered just like the webtoon did. But I'm really excited to see where all of this ends up taking us, because we also have like Sergeant Kim, Chung Seok, and Honey like outside waiting to try and like get inside the stadium, but they're trying to wait to see what the circumstances are. But we also have Tak's men being like, right, nothing's changed, sir. We're going to try and get the civilians out. We still back you even with your monsterization, well, your symptomatic situation, because he still maintained himself. I mean, everyone, once again, everyone varies from person to person whether or not you're able to hold out. So, can he hold out long enough to do what Dr. Lim wants him to do for the purpose of becoming a special infectee, or what? Because Miss Chan, like I said, knows about the whole thing from Yseol about people being snuck out, but now people are motivated to find Yisu. So, how many people are going to be okay with the whole becoming asymptomatic and stuff just to better their lives? I mean, people can be selfish in these regards, so it's like, all right, I'll take this step as long as I can be okay, because they're already in a process of, well, there's going to be like symptomatic people living us. That can't be. And it's like, well, if you're going to be symptomatic and it's going to protect you from other monsters and all that, then it's okie doke, so it's going to be interesting to see where all that takes us going forward. But really, that's all I wanted to talk about. Until the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.